I don't know about you, but sometimes, well, I felt this way before. But again, today, this past week, I've fallen on my face again. You know that feeling where you've worked for something, and especially in your walk with God, and you feel like you've covered so much ground, and then you're put in that one situation that you know is a temptation. And you say, no, I'm not gonna do this, da, da, da. And okay, you pass that test, and that temptation comes back. And you say no again. But it's a little harder this time for some reason. And then the temptation comes around again. And you find yourself slipping. Not just a straight no anymore, but well, maybe, let me see if I can justify what I'm about to do. I've done that multiple times in the last couple of weeks, and as a result, here I am feeling as if all of the growth that I have had in my life and my spiritual walk in the last year is just turned to nothing, because here I am on my face in the dirt going, what the heck? How did I make these wrong decisions? And this is not my point, but I do think that the wrong decisions that I've made have a lot to do with, yes, I know God allows us to be tempted. But I heard recently in a skit that we did, my old youth pastor did in a church, was in the Lord's Prayer, he says, lead us not into temptation and deliver us from evil. And God's responding to that prayer, and he says, okay, I'll do that, but don't put yourself in places where you can be tempted. And I think that's where I screwed up. I think I said, no, I won't do this, but I'll go where everybody else is doing it, or I'll go to this setting where I know I'll be more tempted to do what I'm doing, I'm not supposed to be doing, and then I fall into temptation. And it's because of the wrong choice that I made to be in that situation. So here I am again, and it breaks my heart, because I know that's not what I am made for, and that is not what my heart desires. I know that my desire of my heart is to be fully in love with God. And by the actions that I'm taking, no one would know that. Maybe not by what I say with my mouth, but by the actions that I'm taking. And we justify and we say, oh, but I just didn't have another option, and I was so involved in this situation. And God says, temptation will come. I think it's 1 Corinthians 10. But I will never give you more than you can handle, number one. And number two, I will always provide a way of escape so that you'll stay strong in the faith. And so no matter what situation we're in, we can't only justify it so much, because in every situation, if we look, or even if we don't sometimes, he provides a way of escape and we ignore it. But now that I'm where I am, would it also be the wrong decision for me not to just sit in my puddle of mud and say, oh my goodness, what am I going to do? I'll never get out of this. I might as well just continue doing what I'm doing because I'm stuck. See, I think that would be worse than the first decision that I made that got me into the mud. God says that in this life we're going to have temptation. And I need to try to think of the verse. It's in James. He said he allows it. He allows the temptation, but it's to produce character and endurance in us. And when that endurance is fully developed, it will bring, we're going to be perfect, wanting nothing. So I'm here in the midst of my struggle and the temptation and the things in my life that are going on that God has allowed right now. Not necessarily that he wanted me to be here, but he knew I would make the decisions. He knew I would screw up. And he knew there was something that I would learn from this. And I'm not saying anything that I'm saying outside of this situation because I'm still in the middle. But I'm saying what I'm saying as an hopefully to be an encouragement that even in the middle of this temptation and this frustration, and you say, oh my gosh, how did I do this again? God, how did I let myself fall in this hole for the 100th time? But I think there's just 3 points that I want to make. Number 1, God is faithful. He is faithful. He's always there. He's always been through what we're going through. He always is right there saying, okay, look, just look to me. Okay, just look to me. I'm standing right next to you. I'm giving you a way of escape. Number 1, giving you a way of escape. And that's my second point, is that he's faithful, number 1. Number 2 is that there always is a way of escape. For me now, I'm sitting in my room. I don't have a temptation at the moment. But just because I maybe fell and failed these last couple times, I still have a way of escape. For the next time, I know, my way of escape, it starts before I get to the situation. It starts with me making a decision, and my way of escape being, okay, I'm not going to put myself in this situation. And God's going to give me an opportunity to do something else. Number 3 would be these things that we're going through are to produce endurance and to make our faith perfect. We think, God, why would you allow this? Why would you allow me to screw up? God, why would you put these things in my life? And he says, I want to make you perfect. I want to make you grow. Yeah, you're going to fall. You're going to screw up. I know it already. But if you allow me to do it, I'm going to break you right down again. Because every time he breaks us and we crumble and fall, he puts us back together. But we're better. We're better than the last time we broke. It's a gradual growing process that requires us being built up in Christ and then torn down in the flesh and then built up in Christ. And I think each time he builds us up, there's a little less of us and a little more of him. And so as I go through my day-to-day, I'm going to ask and I'm going to say, okay, God, give me a way of escape. Show me that you're faithful. Father, help me to look to you in this struggle so I will grow in my faith and not just stay in the mess that I'm in. And I hope that it's been helpful, maybe an encouragement, maybe just that, look, at least someone else is going through the same struggles that I'm going through. Maybe not specifically, but in the same general aspect. But I hope it was helpful. So those 3 things, just remember, God is faithful always. He's already provided a way of escape. You just have to look for it and take advantage of it. And that he's trying to make you perfect, like him, wanting that